Misha Mike MacDomhnaill o Cashla Nua, and but while I'm away to squalish in Lowland, who could right down to Lebanon, ta couple of lower Fulfigum, Kianawan, and so Emma Glachagum, Shin MacBaintri, widow's son, and but while I'm just new, August Nadanta at home making a labor, when it's election out, Dirk in a Wilme. Tommy Anna Garden Lowland, Agus Anna Garden St. Titus Hospital, Hospital Nevide, Agus Anna Garden Pauper's Graveyard, no, well, the famine graveyard would lent it on an ish, Akna Revisit for Suis, could have Nadina Buckton, son August, but while I'm talking and of the shin, one of the men of the road, as we'll call them, Longo, who'd stop into our house for a cup of tea was a man by the name of Johnny Bradford, and he's long dead now, but I have fond memories of him. He'd sit outside, he wouldn't come in, he'd drink his tea, August screaming down shot Dud Johnny, and just Rodell a day at him, Sarah. He seemed to use the word workhouse instead of the hospital that time at the county home. He kind of spit the word, as I say here. So then man counts in. Ballad bridge to the Johnny Bradford, dinner in Chandron. The workhouse. Bin and Tanim a Vieg Johnny. Agus éagólas an grún capáin a chuinnig má bháid an lug siúil. Le criméil traum agus gág ard, the drover Bradford, rád a raibh, measar an ish mar cheann den seantref. Gháil buicis as an mia, tris teach de láthir lena vat a drain, heolas be hiag hús an Albin. Hiag sé má ag an omars chlós, cain faoin aistir agus an bailta rive, críoch nó an téile gurad an bór. Dúirt sé an workhouse agus nibstanachil. An taine be bhí going na the county home, lena faliáda os ar giún. Scior an tóm gan túris faoi, ag a dia bháin atá, níl mór an de le héad ar fálanis. Ní garig na léanta agus hín ar íst, béad a bhfuil an fear bogt faoin gré, bhí blás a capáin ag fethe leis. Ís líoch an falla is bhí roiar cisteach, le teach na seascadí agus bormh sa saoil. Féach an áid go mbeadh an workhouse wheel. Deharig an tanim go Hospital Nevide, bheadh orm smaoinmh, mé tóca siar, ag míú an tró don chorstrán séir. Well, Johnny, sin a léimid ar an ish, agus pe hallamh fáin ina bhfuil le corp, chuir an geall gur bé an tanimir relic na mocht. On the pauper's grave. That's one for Johnny. Agus ag fannacht mar a derm fanna med díreach sa bhaile níos gur an ceann seo don bháthir. Bhí sé ar hebh amháin den coga carga mar a derha. Mar as all some people were very black finna Gaeilge or black finna fall or whatever. No, my bháthir. She often told stories and they were usually, shall we say, pro Fine Gael. Now this is cousins of ours who were in Drumcullar, a shop that had to close up. I was Christian Milan and Loughdella. Quid and Staron Coma. I mentioned Collins and David Dean because I was there as a youngster playing with a cousin of mine who actually died very young, a man called Dennis Quaid. So we'll do this one. Tugan na Garad ó Bhéal Mabháthir. An sean staire Drumcullar ag cúlan tupa tréice. An tábhar colla sciupa ó chlán seo den séirstáid, le linn coga searabh na Garad. Is dúirt sé gur duine cuideacha ó crógaíocht dá thabhairt. Taobh amháin, achtar amháin, ná lig Mabháthir in Arúd, far a grid an siupa suas. Cuide dó. An carnaval amá, na Queen Letinas, ag súgra le gunnaí isce, is nóir léachorring isteach bí sport a going sa siupa. Áitir a bula fóst an Shanahéal. Cuoinnig na Corníní doris a heol siscnach ar sínsir. Dordig Uncle Will be stucker, fad a squeal type she Davis Collins cororchar san air. So I just have Devin Collins coming into there at the end in our night in Colour. By the way, the Carnival in Colour is one of the most famous in the country. So I should dul sheer having a blianta, and this is on to go rug will she foster shulon. So Lenny me raig mata she fós on agus but while I'm talking to the horse to build Doris Jackie O'Connor. Near more on a break as the new. Although Nash's Mineral Waters Countess Nikeen Moore if you got a job in Nash's, you were kind of there for life. And Jackie Vishen, a human air carpenter, a Nash's Mineral Waters. Vi Sheffian and Van Kele on a Cardul doing an open house. It's one of those rambling houses we call it. And the cat was very important to her Baldy, and that a dog called oh God, is his name gone from me? I think comes into the book. Tatters, Tatters and Baldy. So I'll mention both of those. The short poem for Jackie O'Connor. I'm a quiet man. Dum course queuing. And Deadalt Reaganish as Malp the Aite, Shasson Sheer a Sostelish, a Mossa Bohan queuing. Ní far kind to Jackie. Lean on a van and tig, le kind for Baldy and Cat. Is an Gaireen sin Tatters. Go dog on the coursen, I was cut to toos le carty. Mark Lachan she part and sin, ní launach Mangabeog, dun Cuig, I was crona on ishel ribbon moor. Great oig she and tay, can I have co-queuing. So Jackie was a nice, quiet man, and that's my memory of him. Now, Rockame Roig, Goody, and Nilaf Gawkion Ella Sermon and Chivlum. We've gone past the hospital and the Relling the Moat, which has become known as the famine graveyard. And I just one or two here about a very good friend of mine, Willie Cregan, and his mother, Mrs. Cregan, we always called her. We tended to use in those years Mrs., even people you know quite well, you'd still address her as Mrs. Cregan. But Willie, her son, I got to know quite well as well. Now, Norvishi Idolanish, like a lot of us, maybe nowadays people colour their hair, but in the old days, when a woman was white, she was white. And Mrs. Cregan had gone very white. And I still in the picture for Law nor Quigmas Suez, and they had a well outside the house, there was no water indoors. And she was coming up from the well in May, April or May anyway. I've called it Beolton and Native Shaskanea, so I'm going back over 50 years. And her hair being so white and the white thorn being in bloom at the time, the two things tied together in my mind. And ever since Norekim, Nablana, Nashkaki Gala, Queenie or Mrs. Cregan, Banana, yes. So I'll just read this one for Mrs. Cregan at our Marvel Father. Beolton and Nadig Shaskane. And Skak Gal, eg fogat Yak na Beoltana, fe Vla Lunrock, nor a yerig to on tubber, August the Chown. O the Chown, Co Gal Shin Lahish, Mac Horse of Mrs. Cregan. August Don and Ryerplum, Riavo Hin. The Kinal took the Have, eg Philacum, on a Skakashin, Gak Beoltana. So Tagan she Rashcum Raderha, Gak Beoltana, Tas Queenie Erhe, August a Kinal took the Visianias. So Creek no Mel Count, actually, Voigan Count shop, do us lately, yes. Email in Gaeilge, Screes in Gaeilge, the Sake, I write in English and Irish, and this book was published actually by Padraig O'Snuddig, who was married to Cleana Cusson, who did the lovely piece of sculpture in the square in Caslanua, Agus Coma ag Relling na Mocht. So I was delighted to have that kind of a candle, and the picture on the cover of the book was done by, I think, an aunt of John and Bobby Cusson here, McCartans. I know their mother was McCartan, and they got that for me, which was, I must say, I was delighted to have that kind of a connection. So anyway, we'll read this one for Willie. I go speak no Melishin. Willie was a bachelor farmer, as I ended up. A lovely man. I used to be working with him and really enjoyed my time there. We'd sit at the end of the table, and it was basic, but it was good fun. And this is mentions an uncle of his who was killed in the Civil War. He had a picture, very few pictures in the house, but one picture of his uncle who was killed up near Liscarroll in the Civil War, a couple of weeks after the start of the Civil War, actually. And but Willie was kind of laugh at Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, which suited me because my politics are neither, but that's beside the point. So Erin Mugan, Martian a V, an doras a huig mar atá ag an drolín, agus site ag bar an bhód, hosig tú a ríis ar Dan Breen, an lawer an bhuineog, nach eis na haspáin. Bhí sean fictúr den uncle muirge in édí troda, an gunas a láimh is an gáir in a húil, nár bhar treis an conartha ach na ceir heachtain. Bhain túil sult as na tarcas ní a cathagláin tócháin, idir Fianna Fáil agus Fine Gael, an tenar go into lasa agus tuidol har broid. Rúg sé graim ar na rachtaí féach húsan son an ihe a hánig na tens cuarda eile ach an graim near scuil agus dimig siad ag malach tús an ihe. Bhí áit an dúán eile ar an bhuinóg NuaAois a scap smúid thulasaring. Ag casa ar an máisteach a bhí ag tomparnach sa clós an díal leis mar isce níos measa na pian sa tóin. An gáire is méid líana na gopáin. So I'll finish off on that with myself and Willie pouring a cup of tea and giving out about the rain, as we always do in Ireland. Again, Willie died a bit young, but I hope we've kept some memories of Willie. And like I say, one verse there, apparently the uncle, when they were raided by the Tens, was held on at an outhouse onto the rafters at a kind of a place where they did the butter or whatever. And he was up above them, but he was hanging off the rafters, and they left and didn't find him, and he ended up being killed by one of our own up near Liscarroll. So sinné mochid agus mar dermlis muintan de laulana, Patton son agus Mary, míle buchas as an gure seo a bheith ar an lá.